Hi, welcome to this week's calming practice. It's called Dream, Wake, Dream, and that is a line from a poem by poet Fugai from the 17th century, which I will share during final relaxation. I'm seeing Dream, Wake, Dream as like an ABA form. Musicians know that as sonata form, but we're basically going to release for a while, engage for a while, and then release for a while. And if you are also familiar with Ayurveda, this practice also lines up with vata because we're doing some movement practices, and then pitta, we're doing a little bit of heat building, and then kapha, which really is the grounding and the static postures. So many ways to look at this practice, but I hope it's fun no matter how you look at it. Okay, great, thank you so much, and let's get started, please. Let's lie on the back, and we're going to lie face up with arms out in goalpost position, so arms by your sides, with palms facing up, elbows bent. And from here, take your feet about match distance apart. So feet are a little wider than usual. And every exhale, you're going to relax back to this spot. As you inhale, reach one arm back and drop the same side knee inward for a lateral line stretch. So your arm reaches back, knee drops in. You can also arch your lumbar spine here as you breathe in, and then exhale, relax back to your still point. And then repeat that on the other side. You're gonna reach your other arm back, knee inward. You can extend your lumbar spine a bit as well. That's all on inhale and exhale. Relax back to center and go back and forth like this, breathing into the side you're stretching. And notice the side you're breathing into. And one side might feel a little bit different than its neighbor. That's probably the most typical human condition, is our left side's not quite like our right. So it's interesting to note in some big ways and some small ways how things are similar, how things are different. So go back and forth like this, breathing in and out through nose. If you're stuffed, you can breathe in and out through your mouth. And a few more times here. And so we started on the right. You'll cycle through until you're stretching your left side. And then when you are relaxed from your left side, take a breath or two in the midline. So deep inhale and exhale here. All right. Keep your arms in goalpost position. This time you're going to slide your legs forward. And as you reach your right arm back, press your right heel forward. So you're stretching from fingertip to heel as far as you can. That's your inhale, exhale, relax, and then you repeat that on the other side. So now my left fingers are reaching back, left heel presses forward. Try to go for a calf stretch, and we're also waking up the soles of our feet. As you go for the stretch, maximum distance between heel and fingertips, you might also notice some movement in low back. I also feel a little bit of traction through the hips. Some muscles around the hips might get some length. Breathe into the side you're stretching. Notice the side you're breathing into. Okay. And so this is same side arm and leg. From here we're going to do a variation. And as you reach one arm back, press the diagonal heel away. So now we're the letter X and we're stretching out one stroke of the letter X on inhale, and then you relax on exhale. And then you reach the other arm back, diagonal heel, and then as you exhale, relax and go back and forth like this, stretching one hand, diagonal heel, and this becomes a bit more nuanced practice in the low back. It's a little bit like an S curve. And so if you know you have an S curve, like a little bit of a scoliotic curvature, one side might feel more intuitive. One of these diagonals might feel more intuitive than the other. Well, yeah, breathe into the length, exhale out of it. Okay, great. And then from there, you release, place your feet flat on the floor. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And now we're going to take our arms out in wingspan. So arms out, two sides. All right, very good. And from here, you're going to roll both arms back. So this is external rotation. The palms start up, and you're going to rotate at your shoulder joint, so your palms point back, and it's like you're trying to palm the floor the more difficult way. Your shoulders also slide away from your ears. That's on in-breath. And then on exhale, your palms roll forward and down, and most people can palm the floor. Some people can also continue rotating in that direction, thereby elevating your shoulders and lifting your pinky fingers off the floor. So we're going back and forth like this. Inhale, roll your palms back, and it's like you're trying to palm the floor the more difficult way. And then exhale, palm the floor the easy way if you can, and then see if you can continue rotating. So strong work for shoulders. So it's external rotation as you breathe in, internal rotation as you breathe out. And we're going to add lumbar arch. So you squeeze the muscles in your lower back, tip of tailbone to floor. So now this is a lot of back body engagement. And then as you exhale, you slide your tailbone forward and press your low back into the floor, lumbar spine into the floor. So this is in sync with your breathing and your arm practice. Arms roll back, arch your spine. That's inhale. Exhale, arms roll forward, tailbone slides forward. And go back and forth like this another few times. Breathe into this, so very, for the first part of this, the A of the ABA form. Very windy, very strong breath work. You could do, you can focus on the breath work here. Another few times. And one last time here, take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Okay, great. And then from there, you release your hands next to your hips. Palms face up if that feels okay for shoulders. Okay. And so from here, we're going to keep your feet where they are on your mat. And so it's not like the feet need to move anywhere. But from here, you're going to slide one hip forward. So you can slide your right hip forward. That's also going to feel like a squeezing on the other side. So that's your inhale. And then exhale, relax your efforts back to the center. And now your other hip is going to slide forward. So you're creating space in one low back to squeeze your other low back. And then exhale, you come back to center. And go back and forth like this a few times. It's not a terribly big move. This is, anatomists will think lateral flexion in your lumbar spine. So one hip forward. That means the other hip recoils back, and that's lateral flexion. You relax back to center on exhale, and you alternate sides. One of these lateral flexions might feel more intuitive than the other. Notice what you can notice, especially for those with diagnosed scoliosis. You might be really familiar with the fact that one low back squeezes much more intuitively than the other one. But even if you haven't been diagnosed, oftentimes we're not perfectly upright. So it might be interesting to note if one side feels like it's very easy to squeeze or easy to lengthen. Okay, so one hip goes forward, that's your breath. In, exhale, relax. And then your other hip goes forward. And you exhale, relax back to center. All right, so notice the new sensations whirling around low back, around your kidney space. And then from here, we're going to add arm work to that hip move. And this is not quite intuitive, so I will describe it a couple times. You're going to slide one hip forward, And the same side arm also reaches down. So it's like you're trying to drag one side of your torso forward. And then you exhale, relax those efforts. And you try that on the other side. Other hip slides forward. Same side arm slides down. So now it's like you're trying to drag the other side of your torso forward. And go back and forth like this a few times. This is not a terribly big move, at least for most people, at least not for me. But you're going to slide your hip forward, slide your fingers as far forward as you can. And that's in breath, exhale, you relax. You try that on the other side. So it's like we're trying to make a diagonal shape out of our torso, which often we think of as like rectangular, from hip points to the tops of our shoulders. If you connect those four, it's like a rectangle, and we're trying to make more of a rhomboid shape by dragging one side of our torso down on inhale. Okay. Very good. And then you come back and pause. So that's the rhomboid shape. And then from here, we're going to go more like a trapezoid. So you're going to send one hip forward, and you're going to send your other arm forward. So now one side squeezes, one side lengthens. And then you exhale, come back to center, and you try that on the other side. One hip slides forward, opposite arm reaches down. And then you exhale, come back to center. You go back and forth like this a few times. One hip forward, opposite fingers slide forward. When your fingers slide forward, your shoulder blade will drag forward on your mat. So notice that. And breathe into torso. This could be thought of as a breath-led movement, a vinyasa. Yeah, and see if one of these moves feels a bit more intuitive than the other. Okay, very good. And from there, relax back to center. Take a deep breath in. Big exhale. And one last time, breath in. Okay, very nice. And then please lie on your side. Doesn't matter which, we'll just start with one. And you're going to take your knees up like we're lying in a fetal position. And this is slow kick of football. So your top leg is off the floor the whole time. Top foot off the floor the whole time. And as you inhale, you're going to point your toes, point your ankle, bend your knee, extend at your hips and spine. So you're winding up to kick a football. And then you slowly kick a football on exhale, bring your leg out in front, and there's as much follow through as you can. Legs straight, round your spine, open toes. And go back and forth like this several times. So inhale, you point your toes behind you, like you're trying to point the toes at the back of your head. You can also look behind you. And then exhale, it's like you're trying to point your toes at the front of your head, your forehead. Round your spine, straighten your leg. And go back and forth like this a few times. And you're squeezing one side as you're engaging the other. And you go back and forth like this. And of course, this is more musculature is working. So this might feel like it's a bit more of a warm-up. This is like sort of our transitional move into the B of the ABA form. Or, if you are familiar with Ayurveda, the pitta, this like heat building form. All right, and so there's one last preparation to kick the football. That's your in-breath, exhale, the follow through. And from there, before we do the other side, lie on your back. Notice difference between sides. Breathe into both sides. And from there, let's try the other side. So you don't have to change your orientation. I will do that for this demonstration. You're lying on the side. You're in a fetal position, and your top leg is up off the floor. And you're going to flex your toes, point your ankle, bend your knee, extend that hip and spine. So it's like you're trying to point your toes toward the back of your head. That's on in-breath. That's winding up to kick the football. And then exhale, straighten your leg, open your toes, and bring your leg out in front as you round your spine. And that's on exhale. And you go back and forth like this several times. And as we're engaging one side of our body, the other side of the body's stretching out. So this is a pretty full-on practice in contrast to some of the other practices we've done so far, which really the focus was on the breath. This might feel a little bit more heat building. And what you can notice is, does this side feel more intuitive or less intuitive? What are the engagements like? What are the stretches like? Are there different parts of your body that express themselves differently on one side and the other side? I'll do this another few times. Great, and one last time, take a deep breath in, and big exhale. Okay, great, and from there you can lie on the back. Notice what you can notice, extend your legs. Notice the after effects of the slow kick of football here. Take a deep breath in, big exhale. And one last breath in. All right, very good. So please take your feet flat on the floor. And you're gonna take your right ankle on top of left thigh. Okay? From here, you hug the whole thing in, and you can either take your hands, you can thread through your legs, hold your left hamstring, or hold your left shin, and you're gonna draw the ensemble in. So for a little more knee stability on the right, your right heel can press out to the side. Okay, there's a few breaths here. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. And one last breath in. Okay, great. And then left foot down, right foot down. Switch your legs. Ankle crosses, left ankle crosses on top of right. You can hold your hamstring, right hamstring. Or if you'd like, hold your shin, and you're going to draw the whole ensemble in. For extra knee stability on the left, you can press your heel out to the side. And one or two more breaths here to warm up spine, warm up sacrum, before we start doing some engagement practices that help build up heat. So take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And then from there, right foot down, left foot down. We're going to go back to the first side. Now instead of hugging the legs in with your hands, you're actually going to use your left psoas, draw the whole thing in with the power of your left leg. So it's hands-free. And from here, your arms are going to reach up. Shoulder blades out to the sides, lift your head. Lift your shoulder blades, and you're going to try to slide your fingers as high up as you can. So fingers lift, pick up a few vertebrae, pick up a few ribs, and it's harder to breathe here. That's part of the heat building practice. Continue breathing as big as you can. Deep breath in, big exhale, hug your knees in, reach your fingers up as far as you can. Twice more, breath in, big exhale. And one last time, breath in. Okay, great. Head on the floor, left foot down, right foot down. Take a cleansing breath in the belly. Diffuse the heat. And then let's try that on the other side, please. So you're going to with your left ankle on top of your right thigh, you're going to use the power of your right quad and your right psoas to draw the whole thing in. So it's hands-free. Okay? And as you're drawing that in, you're going to reach your fingertips up toward the ceiling. Okay? So the psoas is working, and now your head lifts up, and now your shoulder blades lift up. So it's a fair amount of abdominal work as well. And you're sliding your fingerprints up toward the ceiling as you're drawing your knees in toward heart center. There is not a lot of place to put breath. That is part of the heat building practice. Breathe as deeply as you can a few times here. On your next exhale, maybe lift up another set of ribs. And that's for the last breath. Take a deep inhale and exhale from there. Come back down, left foot on the floor. Okay, and from here, if you have your strap, you're going to take the strap around your left foot, and you're going to take your left foot up in the air, the left leg up in the air, like that. Okay, you press your heel up, and then you take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. All right, so from here, so the strap is around your left foot, left leg. You're pressing up toward the ceiling, and from here, what I'd like you to do, it's like you're climbing a mountain, and you're gonna crawl up the strap as far as you can. Now, there's sort of two ways to do that. You can take your legs overhead exclusively, or what I invite you to do is lift your head and shoulders up, so your upper torso is up. Doesn't mean the legs won't come back, but try to keep your legs as straight up as you can, and we're lifting our upper body. And from here, take a deep breath in. You're going to maintain this shape as you let go and slide your fingertips up toward the ceiling. And just a couple breaths here, engaging your abdomen, engaging a lot more of your left leg. 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Exhale, lift up another millimeter. 1 more set of ribs. Take a deep breath in, and you can take hold of the strap, remove it, and left foot on floor, right foot on floor. If the face is reacting, keep your eyes soft, ears relaxed, and feel the weight of your teeth, feel the weight of your jaw. Yeah, so non-reactive face. As we take the strap around your right foot, right leg up in the air. Okay, so yeah, the right leg is up. Please take your left ankle on top of right thigh. And then from here, so you lift your head, you lift your shoulders, and you start climbing up. It's like your right leg is like a rock face, like the mountain climbers that climb up Yosemite. Face the wall face. You're climbing up, climbing up, climbing up, and keep on pressing your heel up. And the leg might come back a little bit, but really you press the leg straight up, and you're trying to lift your upper body. So you've now climbed up as far as you can. You're going to maintain the shape your body is in as you let go of the strap. So you press your right heel up, reach your fingertips up toward the ceiling, and breathe as much as you can. There's 3 or 4 breaths here. Warm up abs, breathe in the abs. On your next exhale, lift your fingerprints another 1/2 inch. Maybe 1 more vertebrae comes off the floor. And take a deep breath in. Okay, great. You can remove the strap. Right foot down, left foot down. Okay. Yeah, and so notice the heat in the body. If your muscles are tired, if your muscles tire out, you start to shake a little bit. Just know that that's the muscle trying to figure out what to do. Usually that is not a sign of instability. It's just a sign of your muscles working. So you breathe into it, diffuse the heat in the belly. Okay, very good. And then from here, we'll lie face down. And as we're lying face down, please take your right hand on top of your left hand, and you're going to paste your forehead onto your right hand. So now that the right arm is stuck to your forearm, so it's glued on. Your left hand is glued to the floor, and as you inhale, you're going to lift your right elbow, retract your shoulder blade, and you're going to salute to the right. So your left hand stays down, right hand is glued to the forehead, and you salute to the right, squeeze your shoulder blade in that back cross-functional line. Exhale, come back down. And try that a few more times. Inhale, draw your shoulder blade in, lift, breathe in the belly, disperse the heat, diffuse the heat throughout the body, and do this a couple more times. Inhale as you lift, exhale as you come down. Inhale as you lift, as you salute, press your hips down. Exhale, come down. Switch arms, so now your left hand is on top, right hand is glued to the floor, forehead is glued to your left hand, and as you inhale, lift your elbow by drawing your shoulder blade in, and then you also salute to the left. Inhale is the lift up, exhale, you come back down, and repeat that several times. Hips stay on the ground, hip pointers press down, and this back line might feel a little bit different than the left, or than the right salute. Notice what you can notice. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, come back. So we're going to go back to the first side. Right hand on top. You glue your forehead to the back of your right hand. And now as you salute to the right, you're going to lift your opposite leg. So you're going to lift across the diagonal. And that's your in breath. Inhale, exhale, you come back down. Take a deep breath in as you lift. Breathe in the belly, exhale, come back to the floor. Inhale as you lift. Yeah, and like 4 or 5 or 6 of these. Inhale as you lift. Big exhale. So this back cross function, this back diagonal line engages, and then you relax it. Left hand again on top of right, forehead onto the back of your left hand. And now you're going to salute to the left, lift your diagonal leg again. Right leg comes up. Exhale, you come back down. And keep your hips rooted so you have an accurate representation of what this feels like. As you lift your spine, lift your leg, building up some heat on the back body. Take a deep inhale as you lift, exhale as you lower down. Let's do that one more time. Okay, very good. So you lower to the floor, head down, if you'd like, and curl your toes under. Press your heels back. Curl your toes under, drive your heels back, and 2 breaths here into belly. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And one last time, breath in. Okay, very good. So from here, elbows come under shoulders. You can interlace your fingers. So your forearms are on your mat. You're going to either A, keep your knees down, heels pressed back, keep your knees down, and as you exhale, draw your bottom ribs in and up to lift your hips in a plank with your knees on the ground. If it feels feasible for the next 20 or 25 seconds, you're going to extend your legs and you come up into full plank. Shoulders away from ears, and as you're driving your heels back, you send the crown of your head forward. So it's like you're trying to traction your spine. Traction your spine, and there's 2 or 3 more breaths here. As we heat up, we breathe into it, stoke the flames a bit. Very good. Take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And you come back down, and you can turn to one side. So one forearm on the floor. We're now in a side pose, which we will either lift up into a side plank with knees bent. So you press your forearms into the floor, shoulder blades away from ears, and you engage your bicep here. So there's some structure here. You press your forearms down, you press your knees down, and you lift your hips. If you know side plank with legs straight, you can totally do that too, but not necessary to build heat. Okay, so I'll demonstrate option 1. You lift your hips, you're squeezing your bottom, breathe in the top. And there's 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale, and one last time, breathe in. Okay, great. And exhale, come back down. Switch sides. You can just turn over to the other side, but I'll change orientation. And now your other arm's on the floor. You press your forearm into the floor. That shoulder blade, it kind of wants to dip up. You're going to slide it away from your ear, like we did in our myofascial release. Engage your bicep. And then from here, you press your forearm down, you press your knees down to lift into side plank. If you know the full side plank, if you like that, you can lift there, and that's fine, okay? But whatever you want to do, you squeeze, whichever variation you want to do, you squeeze your bottom waist to lengthen your top. And 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale. And one last time, breathe in. Okay, great, come out of that. And we're going to swing to hands and knees and go back into downward facing dog. I have a blanket on top of my mat, and so that makes that a little more heat building because I have to stop myself from sliding. You could use this as a heat building practice, which means your quads and your psoas have to really engage in order for you to not have your feet slide. Otherwise, you can, if you're on your sticky mat, that's great. Use it as a hamstring stretch. And there's 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale. Take a big exhale. And one last time, breathe in. And then from here, you bend your knees, step part way up until your feet can ground. And then you bend your knees quite a bit. Reach your arms forward, and you squeeze your low back to come up into chair pose. And there's just a few breaths here. So you drive your feet through the floor. This is the last part of the pitta, the heat building practice. You drive your feet down. Of course, the quads start erupting in flames. Fan the flames with your breath. Take a big inhale, big exhale. One last time. Okay, great. And then you drive your feet through the floor. Press your hips forward to come up to standing. And you can immediately open out to the sides into a wide leg forward fold, hands down to the ground, and you forward fold. Okay. So if you are fairly wide and on a blanket, just make sure that you're not going to slip. If you're on sticky mat, that's great. All right, so we've done a lot of heat building here. So that was the pitta portion, the heat building portion of our practice. In the ABA form, that was the B. So now we're going back down to A, but it's going to really you're going to experience it in a different way, by which I mean we're starting to relax again. So from here, there is some effort in your legs. You're going to press your feet through the floor, lift your inner thighs. And from here, if it feels okay, so you can keep your hands down. This next cue will make the stretch feel a little bit more intense if you interlace your forearms and dangle your arms. So your upper body is actually quieting down, and you can use your body as weight to help facilitate the stretch. Once again, if this is too much, you just take your hands to the floor and push down a little bit. And of course, there will be less stretch because you're not hanging off your hamstrings and your lower back as much. Okay? And we'll be here for another minute or so. So first we did myofascial release, then we did some heat building, and now this is some more, it's more of a yin technique, yin yoga, where as you relax, you really let the pose do a lot of the work. So we're not doing much work anymore. You can still experience a lot. And that's the point, to start noticing what's going on inward. We've been doing a lot. Now you can have a chance to notice what's happening in your interior landscape, the mountains and valleys inside. Take note of them. And last 30 seconds here. Okay, and then from here you can place your hands onto the floor. You're going to go back up to the top of the mat. And right foot is forward, left foot steps back. You can take your knee down. And from here, this is going to be a relaxed lunge. So you can relax your hips toward the floor. You're going to take both hands to the inside of your front foot. And the idea here is to relax your hips down. You can either stay here. If this is too intense for hips, you slide your hips back a little bit. So it's completely fine. It's preferred if it's too intense. If it's too intense, to engage a little bit and shift your hips back. If it feels okay though, you can relax your hips forward. And you can keep your body in a bit of a back bend here as well. So you can press your hands into the floor, lift your lungs up. Eyes can go up a little bit too. So we did a lot of abdominal heat building. This gives some space and some weight to hips and to the front body. And another 30 seconds here. All right, and one last breath. Take an inhale. Exhale, press your hands through the floor actively and shift your hips back. And you can come and switch through hands and knees. I'll bring my hands over to the right side so I can then step my left foot forward. Okay, hands on the floor still. So now the hips are doing the exact opposite things. One's flexed, one's extended. If it feels too intense to completely relax, send your hips back a tiny amount. If it feels okay to relax your hips toward the floor, toward your left hand a bit. And from here, the arms are facilitating this sort of openness along the front body. And you can relax your abs and really can feel the weight of your internal organs into your abdominal muscles. As you're getting a slight back bend in the spine, the front body can sort of drape open and release. So that's the heaviness of this pose. That's it's called kapha in Ayurveda. So it's the grounding, solid quality of our experiences. So first we did breezy, a lot of breathing. Then we did heat building. And now we can experience the solidity of our system. Another couple breaths. All right. Very good. And then from here, press your hands into the floor a little more firmly, shift your hips back, and then you're going to take both knees together, toes point back, and we're going to sit back into child's pose. So if you need some support under ankle, go ahead and take that. If your knees don't bend this much, what I would do is take a block between heel and hips and have it so that arms can be anywhere you'd like. Relax your forehead on the floor. So from here, it's like the back body widens and opens up and kind of drapes open. So you feel the weight of your hips, feel the weight of your low back as it opens up. Okay, and arms are forward. If this feels like you need your arms forward to support your neck and relax your head in child's pose, go ahead and do it. If it feels okay for everything else, you can take your hands back next to your shins, ankles. And now you can also drape open your upper back and feel the weight of your elbows, feel the weight of your shoulder blades out to the sides. And feel the weight, openness, the solidity of your back body as it relaxes open. Intuitive breathing, last 30 seconds. Okay, great. So from here you can use your hands to lift your lungs forward and up. Come to hands and knees. And from here, slide your right knee forward. Foot goes over to the other side and pigeon. So now we get a chance to feel the weight of thighs, hips. Of course, feeling the weight, experiencing the weight is going to give us a bigger stretch. So if you can't set your right hip down to the floor, you can always place a block or another prop, blanket or pillow underneath your right hip. Doesn't have to be on the ground in order to feel the weight though. So feel the weight of thigh muscles, the ones that really got hot in chair pose. And you can either stay up to get a bit of a back bend. This is yogi's choice here, and we'll be here for another 30 seconds. Either up, or if you'd like to take your forearms onto the floor, sort of like plank. Whatever allows you to better relax your legs and your hips. You relax here with intuitive breathing and feel the weight of your bones. And allow the musculature of your legs to soften, musculature of hips to relax. For one more breath. Okay, great. And then hands down to the floor, press up, slide your foot back. And then you can slide your left knee forward. Foot comes out to the side. We're now in pigeon on the other side. If you were using props, feel free to navigate the props over under your left hip, over to the left side. You might need a different elevation. Left hip might be different than right hip. Okay, and feel the weight of your bones. Feel the weight of your sacrum, your hip bones. Feel the weight of your femurs. If you'd like, you can stay up, so you can also feel the weight of abdomen. Okay. And of course, the more you relax, the more the weight of your body is affecting the stretch and facilitating it. So you can stay here, or if you'd like, forearms to the floor. And as you soften down, notice the grounding quality that our bodies have. You feel the weight of the bones, bone weight, skin weight, and the weight of our musculature. All softens down. Another few breaths. All right, very good. So from here, you can take your hands to the floor, palms down, press into the floor, shift your left leg back, and let's lie on the back. So we're lying face up, and please take your strap around the right leg, specifically right foot, for Supta Pada Gusasana 1. Your right leg is up. As little energy is needed to press the heel up, open your toes a little bit. And then from here, send your left leg forward. So our legs are doing a minimal amount of work. Arms doing a minimal amount of work. And now feel the weight of your internal organs and the weight of your spine. So if there is a big stretch, it's going to be on the back of the right leg. You can get as much stretch as you'd like, as long as you can also relax your face and feel the weight of your spine. We've done a fair amount already. And so as we explore the second A in the ABA form, sort of softness and release, also experience the weight of the body, like the earthy element. Breath is intuitive. There's another minute here. So you can let the pose do a fair amount of the work. Face soft, eyes relaxed. You can relax your eyes open or closed. All right, very good. And you can bend your knee a little bit, release your leg to the floor. Enjoy the unfurling of the tissues around your right leg. All right, and then Supta Pada 1 on your left. Please take your left foot up in the air. Okay, yeah, so you can press your heel up. Minimal effort required. Heel up a little bit, open your toes, and then you also press your right heel forward. A little bit of effort in legs. That'll help keep the structure of the stretch going. Of course, a little bit of effort in the arms makes this much easier for your legs. So I think the payoff is good. The shoulders relax away from ears. Arms doing as little as possible to get a stretch that works for you. And then feel the weight of your spine. Release and relax your spine. Feel the weight of the skin of torso. Feel the weight of the bones of your torso, spine. There's ribs. A couple bones in the shoulder joints, shoulder girdle, collarbones, scapulae. And even if you're getting a somewhat formidable stretch here on your left, see to it that the skull feels heavy, jaw, the neck. Can you relax the pit of your neck, where the hyoid bone is? Some people call it the Adam's apple, the hyoid bone. Relax the muscles around hyoid. And as much of a stretch as you're getting, you can also observe how much you can soften down toward the floor. One more minute here. Notice how the pose feels now in contrast to when you first pressed your left heel up. Take a deep breath in. Okay, you can bend your left knee a little bit, release. Okay, so relax your leg forward. Notice the recoiling and relaxing of left leg. And so the second variation is next. If you have a strap with a loop in it, you can shorten the loop. And I'm going to take the strap around my right foot. Supta 2 is now the leg goes out to the side. You could just hold the strap with your right hand. Also, if you have the ability, you would take the strap long and underneath your shoulders. So now that you feel the weight of your shoulder blades, the weight of your body can do most of the work of holding the strap this way. So my right hand still holds the strap, but with the strap underneath my shoulder blades, now the weight of my body, the kapha nature of the body, facilitates this practice. So the leg is out to the side in one way or another. You press the heel out to the right, press your left heel forward gently. If you're holding the strap with just your right arm, that's great. If you can take the strap underneath you and also hold it with your left arm, that'll help distribute some of the responsibility for maintaining the pose. And from here, really feel the weight of your left hip. Feel the weight of your left ribs. Minimal effort in your legs. Let the pose work on you. Especially after such a heat-building practice. It's nice to allow the breath work and the heat that we've cultivated to both diffuse into the body and infuse into the body. So there's both an infusion and diffusion. Another minute here. And notice how the pose feels now, in contrast to when you first took your right leg out about 2.5 minutes ago. Take a deep breath in, and exhale. You can let go of the strap, bend your knee a little, bring your right leg back on your mat next to your left, and allow your hamstring to relax, your inner leg to soften. Notice the after effects of that practice. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Very good. So from here, you're going to take the strap around your left foot, and the left leg is going to go up and out to the side. And so option number one, if you just have a free strap, you would hold the strap with your left hand. Okay? And that's fine. That can be sustained, no doubt. If you have a strap with a loop, if you can make the loop, you slide the rest of the strap underneath your shoulder blades. And now you can use the weight of your upper body to maintain the pose. So it'll be a lot less work for your left arm for sure. Okay, my left arm's doing some. My left leg is doing some as I press my heel out. My body weight, so I relax my mid-back into the floor. And also, if your strap is long enough, you can hold it with your right hand. And so your right hand can work a little bit to maintain the pose. So here's Supta 2. This might feel different than it did on the first side. Notice what you can notice. And because the left leg is out to the left, really experience heaviness in your right hip. Not that you have to push it down to the floor, but the tendency is for the right hip to lift a little. Just feel the weight of your right leg, right thigh, right hip, and right shoulder. As best you can, spine is soft. Feel the pit of your neck relax. Bottom row of teeth heavy, top row of teeth heavy. You can relax your eyes open or closed. And enjoy the internal sensation of this pose. So if there are sounds in your room or outside your room, my voice is included in that. For the next minute, you can let those go and dwell with the heaviness in your body and sensations in the pose. Another 45 seconds. All right. Great. And one last breath here. Take an inhale. Okay, you can bend your left knee. Release your left leg on your mat next to your right. Pause there. Notice the after effects from Supta Pada 2. Now take a deep breath in. And big exhale. Okay, great. And then from here, draw both knees into chest, which is just sort of like an upward facing child's pose, if you can imagine that. But this is Vayamuktasana, wind release. This is option number 1. Option number 2, if you'd like, you can take hold of your feet and draw your knees toward the floor in Happy Baby. So, like plenty of the other more yin poses we've done, you can use your arms. Arms are working a little bit in order to relax your legs, in order to relax your sacrum, and in order to relax your spine. And this is the last pose before our final relaxation. So you can notice your breathing. Notice the wind throughout the body, your sensations throughout the body, your ability to notice. Notice the qualities of heat you've cultivated throughout this practice. The circulation. And then also notice the quality of grounding, solidity, stability that you've cultivated as well. And 2 more breaths here. All right. Great. So from there, you extend your legs forward, relax into Shavasana, which of course should feel like the heaviest pose of all. And just like in Happy Baby pose, you can observe all the qualities that we've highlighted in our practice today. The vata, the air and nerve practice. Notice your ability to feel your system. Notice the pitta quality the warmth in your system, the energetics and the fire. And also notice the coolness in your system, bone weight, skin weight, and the weight of everything in between. It all drops down. And you can stay curious in your internal state. I will share a poem from Fu Gai, 17th century poet. Only the Zen practitioner knows tranquility. The world-consuming flame can't reach this valley. Under a breezy limb, the windows of the flesh shut firm. I dream, wake, dream. Only the Zen practitioner knows tranquility. The world-consuming flame cannot reach this valley. Under a breezy limb, the windows of the flesh shut firm. I dream, wake, dream. All right. So from here, take 10, 15, 20 seconds, however you would like. You can move around a little bit, but in a few breaths, come up to seated while focusing inward the whole time. So you come up to a comfortable seat with as little effort as possible. You can join me in a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or otherwise, with that same attention that you had in your final relaxation. And from the seated position, notice the solidity of the body, the kapha quality, grounding of legs and hips. Notice the pitta quality, the fire that allows us to sit upright. Notice your energetics. And finally, notice the vata quality, the breathing that you sense, and the lightness of your system. All right, great, very good. So you can open your eyes if they're closed. All right, very good. So thank you for practicing with me. I hope this was interesting and rejuvenating in the way that the Sonata form, the ABA form, really facilitates. So I hope you felt that. as I did. Thank you so much. Take care. Namaste.